Yeah, what's up everyone? Patch 9.02 shook things up hard in Valorant. New map updates, new agent nerfs, buffs, they just added a toggle switch for Phoenix. No idea what that means, but we're all gonna be going over it. It's crazy out there. So you guys have been asking for a new agent tier list. I'm gonna be delivering it right now. Let's break down who's dominating and who's struggling in the new meta. Find your perfect agent to climb those ranks. I've hit Radiant on my alt and my main account, both top 20 in North America. I get to play against professional players on a day-to-day basis. I'm here to show you what makes us so great that we're able to hit any ranks we want and destroy the player base. To be straightforward, I'm going to be making two agent tier lists. One's going to be if you're insta-locking every game, and the second one's going to be if you're forced to fill and the best agents for filling for your team. So off rip, we're doing Yoru. A lot of people don't like Yoru. A lot of people are going to get upset at you for how you throw your blinds and how you're doing whatever, because everyone has an opinion. But Yoru, no matter what, is just S tier. The highest rating player in the world who holds the highest RR peak, mained Yoru. Eggster, I'm sure everyone knows him, his duo, him and him, constantly hitting #1 over and over again. Yoru is just a great agent, and you don't really need your teammates' help. You can entry for yourself, you can be your own initiator, you can TP on the site. If you don't have spike, you can get it. There's so much you can do with Yoru. It's just unbelievable. You don't need help. Second, Skye. Same thing. You're able to help your teammates so much, and you can do stuff yourself. Your flashes are the best. Initiate, you can pop blind yourself into situations. Deadlock's gonna be A. She grab knitted a Skye ult. That was the most insane thing I'd ever seen. We Skye ulted, she crouched it, and the Skye ult wasn't moving. It just stood there and it didn't clear the site. That was the best thing I'd ever seen, bro. So his A tier because he can do a lot as well. He can shock dart, he can info dart. And if his lineups are really good, he's changing the game. I'm gonna be honest. But when you're good at the agent, it's insane. Which you can say that for every agent, but some agents, no matter how good you are, they just aren't doing you much. Like this guy, Harbor. We're just gonna play him in B tier already because I don't like him. Raze is going to be A tier. She's an RPG. I don't think she's the best. I don't think she's better than like Yoru and Skye right now, but she's up there. She's been nerfed too many times for me to keep her up there. She has her own util, so she's able to do stuff, but it's just not as much as like Skye and Yoru. Phoenix is gonna have to be S tier. Like I won't even lie, I be playing Phoenix. I really do be playing Phoenix. Phoenix ain't that bad. I want to put him in A tier, but like he's way better than everyone else in A tier. KO is probably an A tier as well. He can flash himself, he can flash his teammates. Like KO can do everything for his team and himself. So to help you rank up, KO is a good pick if you know everything. I'm putting Neon in A tier. I'm not gonna lie. I know very few people that are good on Neon. She has a lot of util, but like I feel like it's too much just for herself. I feel like if she still had 2 stuns, she could help the team. Like Yoru and Skye can help the team and themselves. Same thing with Raze, Phoenix, Sova, KO, Deadlock. Neon's just too personal. She can't really help the team that much. Gecko, dude, there's gonna be a lot of A tier. Gecko's good. He can blind for himself. It might not be as good of a blind, but he can do a lot of stuff for himself and his teammate. Because sometimes you get teammates who don't lock stuff that you need, right? Sentinel or smokes or duelist. You can do all that with Gecko. Having stuff that you can use to like help you yourself benefit and your teammates benefit is really crucial. Now as for Sage, Sage is going to D tier actually. Don't be playing Sage. I'm gonna be honest, bro. You playing Sage, you're throwing my game. I hate Sage players, bro. I ain't never seen a good Sage player. Breach is definitely going to be B tier. I'm gonna be honest, Breach is not good on literally almost any map. Abyss, he's okay. I only say he's okay because of a play I like doing. The plays that I do, I can make Breach work. But most of the time, Breach is not working, especially if you're solo or duo queue. If you're sitting there trying to rank up in your solo queue and you're playing Breach, bro, you're throwing. Like you can do a little bit to yourself and for your teammates, but most of the time you can't. It's just a 4 agent. His flashes are so easy to dodge, it's not funny, and you can't swing off of them. If he shoots them far away, you can see the flash traveling through the air. It's not good. Same thing with Brimstone. Brimstone's probably C tier, bro. You're not doing anything yourself. You're sitting there smoking and you're like, okay, duelist, go entry. I'll stem you. I'll walk out as a mindless drone. Clove, B tier, same thing. Clove's cool. If you're good at the game, you can make any agent work, but that doesn't make Clove good. The heal barely lasts anything. Realistically, when you're pushing a site and you're like, oh, we need 3 smokes. You don't have 3 smokes. I can place 2, and then by the time you get onto the site, they're already dissipating. There's no time to like plant the spike and set yourselves up to do something. They're already dissipating. Fade, you know, lineups. I'm gonna be honest, bro. The best Fade. I have lineups for everything, bro. I still don't like playing Fade. Fade is so hard, it's not funny. If it's her in a 1v1, bro, like let's say you know the guys around the corner, you just throw your dog, he just shoots it instantly. Dog did nothing. Omen's gonna be T. You're smoking, taking a lot of time to smoke. TPing takes a lot of time. Everything's for your teammates. It can be for yourself, right? Everything's situational, but that's why it's just ranked. This isn't a filling thing. B tier because you can do it for yourself. You can make Omen work, up to you and how you play it. KJ is definitely going in like B, bro. You can be amazing. You can be amazing, the best KJ in the world, and you'll still be losing because your teammates are just incompetent. High-ranking players who main Sentinel like Daznarth and Baby J, the game for them is not the game for us. They can tell their teammates what to do and they'll listen. And they're like, guys, just go stack the other site. For most people like me and you playing ranked, you say that, your team mutes you. They don't listen. You say entry, they don't entry. You say push the site, they don't listen. And they'll blame you if you're last alive on KJ. ISO's gonna go in A tier as well. He's almost good for any situation. As an agent, he's okay. I don't like him. I don't like the fact they nerfed his timer to only 12 seconds because now every time I hear an ISO shield pop, I'm like, oh, it's A. Like ISO shield pops A main, they are going A. ISO does not have time to rotate. 12 seconds is not long enough to be lurking or doing your own thing. It also makes noise when the shield dissipates, so you can't lurk. You have to go in with your team. Chamber, yeah, you're going in C. I'm gonna be honest, if you're playing Chamber and you're having a bad game, there's no util like Sky, Yoru, or any of these other agents where you're like, I can get a lucky blind them and get a free pick. Even when I have bad games, everyone has bad games, but like your play style can fix it. There's no play style with Chamber to fix that. Cypher's gonna go in B. He has his own smokes. Yeah, his cages are good, his trips are okay, and his cam's okay. Everything, his kit is really good. I don't think he really needs to be changed at all. But like, when it comes to people to play, you're not playing him because your teammates are not going to be entering well on their own. Your teammates are not going to be, it's really just your teammates, bro. Like you can do everything with these agents, especially S tier. You can entry for your team, you take the spike, plant, do everything. Cypher is more of just a mediocre, to be honest. Astra the same way. You can make Astra work, but you just shouldn't main her. Reyna, it's gonna be A tier. You can take spaces on your own, you can blind for yourself, you can heal yourself, you can peek things, you can hold sites when your teammates don't want to hold it, like your teammates playing retake, you just sit there and hold the main, get a pick, dismiss out. Jett, that's going to B tier, bro. Your teammates won't smoke properly, you're screwed. There's no entering. Your teammates don't want to do like proper things, they're like running into stacks, you're dead, bro. Every time you ask your teammates to blind, they won't blind perfectly. You want to smoke, they probably won't smoke perfectly. You're just not getting it. For ranking up, you're just asking for too much. Viper, C tier. Don't be playing Viper in my rank. This is the final for ranking up. And let's do for duelist. Raze is going to be an S tier. Yoru is going to be an S tier. And Reyna is going to be an S tier. All three of these are very self-sufficient and also capable of helping your team to the highest extent. All three of these, you're able to get stuff done and win with or without your team, and they'd be really helpful for helping you rank up. And Neon, one of the few duelists I'm going to put in B tier. No matter how good you are with him, he's really team reliant and hoping that you know what you're doing and that your team knows what they're doing and that they're going to listen to what you're saying. In the last three duelists, I'm going to be putting Jett in A tier, Phoenix in A tier, and ISO in A tier. Although these duelists are good, and I consider every agent in the game at least somewhat decent, as for controllers, I'm going to be putting Viper and Omen in S tier. Viper is really useful on maps like Icebox and Breeze, and he's just needed. So if you were forced to fill, I'd play Viper on Icebox and Breeze. And as for every other map, Omen is usually a better pick since you can blind for yourself, you can TP, get out of situations, and your smokes regenerate so you can use them later in the round for yourself or for your teammates. I'm gonna be putting Clove and Brimstone in A tier. Brimstone smokes last insanely long. You can also place them in insanely far distance, and he comes with a molly and a pretty good ult. And Clove, I'm gonna be honest, Clove I might put less than Brimstone, but like Clove smokes won't last as long. He doesn't really have a molly. His ult is just him coming back to life. It's a very selfish controller, and your teammates probably won't like it if you're playing Clove and doing bad. And Harbor, I just think Harbor's all around a bad pick. You have to be insanely good with Harbor, and I'm gonna be putting him in B tier because being realistic, it's super hard to smoke off specific angles. In Astra, I'm gonna be putting her in B tier. Astra as an agent is good, but she's just not standard for most maps. Astra is a good agent. She can be played differently from Omen and Viper, but generally speaking, if you're filling for your team won't want an Astra. They'd probably rather have a Clove. For Sentinels, Sage is in D tier. Just like in the other tier list, don't be playing Sage. Chamber is going to be in C tier. Although I like playing Chamber when I'm smurfing, I'm going to be straight honest, he has no kit. His kit is non-existent. You just have to be raw, one-tapping everyone for him to be even decent, and being realistic, no one does that all the time. I'm going to be putting KJ in B tier because although he's good, he is meta on certain maps. He's very insufficient for himself. He's completely reliant on his team, especially when you're like, oh, I want to play KJ. I want to play retake with my ult with KJ. It's very insufficient. It's not very useful or helpful. And I'm going to be putting Cypher and Deadlock in S tier. When you're filling for Sentinel, Cypher and Deadlock, you can do so much for yourself. It's not funny. You can cam for your own info. You can smoke for yourself. Deadlock's crouch net can crouch the entire enemy team. Cypher and Deadlock are very sufficient for your team and yourself. And for initiators, I'm I'm gonna be putting Gecko and Sky in S tier. Gecko, you can do so much. You can plant the spike without worrying about yourself. You can blind for yourself. Your little man stuns, you have a molly, your ultimate, along with Sky. Sky, you can heal your teammates, you can dog for info, and your blinds, you can either blind for info or you can do really tight blinds and blind everyone. And as for KO and Fade, I'm gonna be putting both of them in A tier. KO, having really useful blinds. KO is only good if you know everything about him. If you know his knife lineups, his molly lineups, and his blind lineups. Same thing for Fade, you can have a bunch of suck lineups and a bunch of eye lineups. But at the end of the day, if you don't know any lineups and you're just playing Fade, he's really bad. And for the last two initiators, Breach and Sova, I'm gonna be putting both of them in B tier because I'm gonna be honest, Breach is just not good. His stun, you can't stun up close to yourself. There's a distance between you and your stun in which your stun can actually affect a person. And his aftershock takes a long time to activate. And as for Sova, he just doesn't have any util for himself. He darts is for his team. Basically, Sova's always played the same way on every map. If your team's executing A, you're gonna dart probably the same thing every single round. You're gonna shock dart the same trips every single round. You're gonna drone the same spots every single round. Your whole kit's gonna be used for your team. But Breaches and Sova's ult are really good and they're really useful. And they're not horrible agents. They are good. And some maps I'll still play Sova and Breach.